Good morning, Steve. I beat you to it.
What is up, everybody?
You wanted to do it.
I wanted to do it, man.
If you didn't watch the last video, you're probably confused why I'm sitting here with my engine next to my Porsche. Dude, it's me. You know, I always do this. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna enjoy a car before I rip it apart. Man.
Full of shit. In a good way. In a good way.
I feel guilty. It's for the better. You know, this is the funny thing is probably the most expensive engine I own now, and I just honestly felt guilty driving around knowing that it needed a lot of love, right? And I really wanted to rip into it because figuring out, I hate not knowing everything about my car. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I feel like every single car I own, I know every nut and bolt and how it works. This, and this, and then not knowing this thing pissed me off. So I took it apart so I can learn it. The best way to learn about something is to take it all apart. That's how I learned cars. I took my Z apart and I said, oh my God, this sucks. And I put it all back together. So today, the next part of the journey is, well, we got to start disassembling this thing and cleaning things up. And then we get a better idea of what we need to order because we have to see what is dry rotted, broken, needs to be replaced, all this and all that. And also I got to figure out what I need to replace because it's just, there's a lot going on, right? My first air-cooled engine, so a lot of it is different. It's got this crazy turbine fan in the front.
Big ass under tray.
It's got this big ass under tray, and there's 12 spark plugs on a 6-cylinder. Love the 80s. And the thing is honestly just filthy, and I'm really excited to see this thing clean up. So today we should have a pretty damn good transformation on how this thing looks, because we're gonna take it all apart and just wash the crap out of it. So first thing we have to do is figure out how to remove this tray, right? Because this is basically the whole tray for the engine compartment. It wraps around the engine and then seals right here. It's like a seal right here. So basically this makes the engine compartment
weatherproof.
Weather resistant. And it's definitely not watertight, but it looks like a labyrinth of panels that go together. So we got to figure out how to unbolt it all. So let's figure that out. Oh, this is going to be a puzzle, dude.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not. Oh,
that's nasty. You want a trash can?
I'm just gonna let it go on the floor.
No, don't let it go on the floor because I gotta sweep it up later.
While I take this apart, Spoon is going through the engine and covering up all the ports that we can't get water into, like the fuel lines, the oil lines, the vacuum lines.
I think I got all of them.
Etc. Okay, it's not too bad.
You gonna send the engine mount to powder coat?
Yeah, do it like, I don't know, Monster Green or something. I'm kidding, stop. Oh, that plug wire is bad.
Erosion.
That's crazy. This valve cover smoked. Look at it. It's like chipping, and look at it right here. Good thing we're getting new valve covers.
Sure.
This one we might have to replace just because it's all actually corroded. Now you finally get a glimpse into what the heads on the engine actually look like. Isn't that crazy? All the fins on it, because since this thing's air cooled, it needs as much surface area for cooling as possible.
Very different than things I'm used to seeing in here. I mean, I know it's a different engine, but like, I don't know.
It looks very
it just looks different.
It looks very like airplane-ish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, like
submarine-ish.
It looks like a boat engine.
A boat, yeah. It looks aquatic, B. The submarine got PlayStations, TV screens. The submarine got everything a rich could need.
So in the last video, I talked about how the power steering pump actually bolts on this bracket. It was deleted before I got the car, so we don't have a power steering pump. I was kind of going crazy, like, where the hell would the power steering pump go on this thing, right? Well, the accessory drives are up front. There's no bracket for power steering. Kind of blew my mind. Didn't know what was going on until I realized this is where it mounts, right? And it's not electric power steering. It has to be driven by something. Found out there's actually a drive gear on the back of the head right there. So this is another cam sprocket, but in the back of the head exclusively for driving the belt on the power steering pump, which is pretty nuts. Well, I guess it's a huge pain in the ass to do in the car, so we have to make the decision now if I want to put an OEM power steering pump back in, or if we convert it to a more modern system and run maybe an electric power steering pump.
I vote electric power steering pump in the front.
Okay. I don't like that. I don't hate that idea. We got plenty of room in the front, and it'd be nice to simplify the engine.
Why not? Let's modernize this thing as much as we could.
It's kind of cool though because like I don't really know much about Porsches in terms of like what people do, this and this, so I'm not really stuck in this like this weird recipe that people get caught in when they're maybe a little too indulged in the scene. From this, we're just going in with the knowledge that we have of automobiles, and we're just going to apply it as much as we can to an engine that's honestly not much different, just kind of shaped a little bit weirder. So just modernize this as much as possible, right? There's a lot of good tech out there that's been designed since the 80s, and hopefully we can throw some at it. That's it. So for now, we are going to take this drive gear off so we can get the rest of the paneling off. Under tray paneling. We're still trying to figure out what they call these things. There she goes, just like that. Oh wow, that like seals it.
It is the seal, yeah.
Okay, well definitely gotta...
Oh, somebody's been in there before.
Definitely need that O-ring. Last piece of the tray, right here. To be honest, besides this piece, because we had to take off this entire power steering pump assembly, everything came off extremely easily. Nice work, Porsche. She looks filthy outside. It's not bad. I mean, besides the deteriorating valve cover, nothing's bad. It's just really dirty and dusty. So I'm expecting great things when we power wash this. So now it's time for the exciting part, which is the power wash. It's exciting because I feel like it should clean up actually pretty well. We should get a pretty good transformation. Of course, when power washing engines, you gotta be super careful. You don't want to get water where it doesn't belong, right? If you have your manifolds off, you gotta make sure it doesn't get in the intakes or the exhaust valves because you don't want water sitting in your chambers. The intake and the exhaust on, so we can't get water into the cylinders. All the vacuum lines are covered. All the oil lines are covered. All the electrical stuff is fine. I'm not too worried about it. The whole like thing is exposed underneath here and stuff, but I don't see why it would be a big deal if water got in there. So let's give this thing a solid power washing, get the overall thing clean, and we'll start taking it apart and doing more cleaning from there. So enjoy the satisfying transformation. The engine looks a lot, the tranny's still filthy. I didn't spend a lot of time on the transmission. I think we're gonna take this off anyway, so we'll give that a full session. But the engine is no longer like dusty and not as greasy. It still looks kind of old and beaten, but from before it looks quite a bit better. So now it's the part we gotta take it all apart, and then we're probably gonna clean everything individually. A lot of stuff will be replaced. Hopefully all the aluminum we can just get quickly vapor honed. I'm trying to find that limit of like how crazy do I go, because obviously we could do the whole thing where we paint the engine compartment, we zinc all the bolts, vapor hone everything, go crazy. But if I go too crazy, then I think it'll cause me to drive it less, and kind of want to find the happy balance of like making it nice but not going over the top. I don't want to make it that perfect show car where I go and pop the trunk and show everyone. I just want it to be nice. I want a nice car, but I don't want to overdo it.
No matter what, this has to get re-gasketed everywhere.
Everywhere.
Every time you touch something, you gotta make it look a little bit nice.
I know.
So, but it looks like you gotta touch a lot of things.
I know. I'm just trying to. I don't want to like overdo it because then it turns it like. I think the only thing you really see is like the intake and then this fan, like because there's a cover right here, right? So if we make the AC, like if we delete the AC, it look nice, but I'm keeping AC. So clean this up.
New cover, powder coat the fan.
Done. Let's start taking this thing apart.
Is this supposed to be a hole?
Definitely not.
It looks exploded.
On.
Yeah, you gotta lift it.
Oh, no, let the exhaust drain.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Oh my God, where's so much water in
I
the
don't
exhaust?
remember spraying the water that aggressively.
He filled his all the way up to the downpipe last week, and it was fine.
That's like the heater fan.
All right, hold on. See the leg?
Yeah.
Take it out just to wash it.
Yeah, right. Put it right back in. Ooh. These legs.
I take them out.
It's a little pebble.
Why'd you have to get a new motor? Zip tie.
I guess it's time to take this thing apart, right? It'd be really nice to do timing on this thing while it's out.
And cams.
And cams would be sick. Cams would be easy. You ever see those videos where the guys with the old bugs will pop off the belt and then throw a new belt on when it's
You gotta
still
do it when
running?
it's running. Won't go?
Whatever, dude. I know.
While it's running.
Yeah, okay.
While it's running.
While it's running.
Yeah, you're about due for a new one anyways.
Yeah, usually I'm pretty bad about organizing hardware, but this one I think I'm gonna need to. Look at the brackets broken right there. Whatever.
Good.
Trying to figure out the best order of operations here. Oh no, this thing's like off. Oh, sick. Oh, the crank pulley is just casually in the way by like a millimeter. I guess crank pulley has to come off first. Zip, zip. Oh, that was easy. Oh, mother.
Is it 2 pieces? Yeah, this is the inside of that same pulley.
That makes sense.
But there's a shim.
Shim, something like that. I'll figure that out later. That's a future Jim's problem.
How would they make a pulley out of that many parts?
There's no way. There's no way. I'm gonna need a puller. There's probably so many Porsche techs just cringing watching this video. Good. So this crank pulley's being a pain in the ass to take off. I don't really care if I ruin it because I'm gonna replace it, but it's not coming off. So it looks like they actually sell a specialized tool to remove this crank pulley, and it looks like it uses these outer threads to basically push against the crankshaft to pull it out. It's weird, super simple. If I can find a bolt that has this threads on it, I should be able to make the tool. So only thing I can find with that thread pitch is this banjo nut, but I have an idea. Or banjo bolt. Is this the right thread? No, it's a really uncommon thread pitch. We're getting crafty here. It's still really hot. Hopefully this works. Should be able to just... Okay, we gotta prevent it from spinning. Take this and just
Put it right there.
hold it right there.
All right. Don't let it move.
Don't let it move.
Ain't going nowhere.
We put the camera down for a second. The thing just... It was under so much tension that I like tapped it and it just popped off.
Nice work with the homemade tool, Jim. Touch me.
Love that. The Porsche tool was literally this. I mean, not the same thing, but very similar. It was under a lot of tension. Usually the OEM the Porsche tool is thicker here for obvious reasons, but we made do with what we got. So there we go. I'm gonna sell these on Shop Jimmy O. This one right here, 150 bucks. So I just went, ping! Cool. Definitely need a front main seal, so I'm happy that thing's off. One of the many oil leaks, but that one looks pretty easy to do. So now we can take this.
Get out of there.
There you go. Here you go, Steve. Ah, you're wearing a white shirt. Get out of here. Yeah, this thing's filthy. Yeah, so this pops off now. That's cool. The wires kind of snap into it. One of the best things you could do when you take an engine apart is just take a bunch of photos. Even if you're not going to use them, what's it hurt to have more photos on your phone, right? This will just maybe one day save my ass, because if you need a specific photo, trying to find out online is not easy.
Looks like things escalated quickly. Damn, that thing's clean.
Does it look cleaner?
Oh, it looks way cleaner. What are you talking about?
That's good.
Or you've probably just been staring at it long enough to where it just doesn't look that clean to you?
No, not at all.
You went ham.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it all apart. I don't want to unseal the engine, but I want all of it. Yeah, that front main is bad, right? Looking at it right now, it's kind of funny because I was hoping the timing chains were kind of be one big piece, but it looks like the heads are actually offset, because if you look, this section for the time, I'm assuming the timing chains are behind here, is more forward than this piece, so it looks like we're gonna have to do this in an interesting way. My goal today is just to bring it down to a bare long block, do a little bit more finite research, and then do all the timing stuff. Pulling it apart, it's not a big deal. You can kind of use common sense, but putting it back together, gotta have some finesse. So, next thing I wanna do is, I loosen this, so when you wanna pull the distributor out, get that thing out of the way. Our multi-distributor, weird thing. I might need a pry or two. The universal pry bar, your biggest flathead. Those look expensive, so be careful.
Oh, I know.
The most random things on this car are like super, super expensive, but I guess that's Porsche for you.
There it is.
There she is. It's been on there for a long time. There you go. I guess that is a huge O-ring, huh?
Yeah, well, this is an O-ring, yeah.
There we go. I would love to get rid of that thing. If we can go smart coil on this, if that's an option, let's get on the list. This thing just presses on the shaft right there with the bearings, so this should just come right off. Nice and easy. Definitely want to do something about this fan because this is like the biggest piece of the engine that you see. It's like the iconic Porsche look. It's just like right in your face. So I don't know if these are cheap or if we just
Vapor home?
might be aluminum. If it's aluminum, vapor home. But it would be nice in like a trim black, right? Look how ugly it is without it. So the funny thing is, right?
That's the alternator?
That's the alternator, right? So we were looking at the engine yesterday, and it's like I started kind of planning on engine harness in my head, right? And I'm like, wait, where the hell is the alternator on this thing, right? We had the AC we had the AC unit there, but we had nothing else. And then I realized, oh, it's literally inside the fan. So they dual purposed it, right? So look at this.
Smart.
thing. Look at it. So I guess you would, yeah, it's basically, that's the alternator's just in the inside. Compact. Love it. Now, how the heck do we get all this out? We'll figure it out. So there's this big ass band clamp that goes all the way around this piece, and it looks like it's almost just kind of clamped in place, which is kind of funny. Or that's just for the shroud. I don't know.
Why it's worth taking it apart?
That might just be for the shroud. Or is it just stuck? Oh. One there. That might be it right there.
That was it?
You know what's also really cool I noticed is like every part number on this car starts with 964.
Ah, that's cool.
That's smart, right? Oh my god, this thing looks like a jet engine. No way.
It's plugged in.
Oh my god, it's filthy in there. I knew we were gonna have to power wash this thing twice.
Like a jet engine.
It looks like a little jet engine. I love it. Back, it basically has the standard wiring that you would see on an alternator. Very cool. Very different.
But the same.
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 Go. Damn, that's like the void, dude. I mean, so right, this thing pulls all the air in through and shrouds it and basically sends all the air through the engine. It's air cooled, right? So all the air that comes through here is very important. It helps cool down the engine itself. 30 years worth of road grime, so. Now, let's get the intake off so we can get the cover off so we can bare the engine and clean it. Sounds good?
This thing's gonna just be a bare block by the end of the day.
Damn. Put that thing in a submarine.
Oh,
Alright, so we're gonna try to keep the intake all together for now so we can kind of do this on a bench and like really take in the intake as a whole versus taking it all apart right now. So for now, everything is just kind of on the intake. So we're gonna undo all the boots right here and it should just come right up. Uncertified Porsche mechanics.
Uncertified Porsche tech.
Oh, okay. I thought that was gonna be stuck on there. Oh, I forgot one connector.
Boom, just like that.
It sucks because like all like everything for like to get like a cool aftermarket intake for this thing is just so expensive. Like Porsche tax is such a thing, dude. Like they just know that they're like, oh, you got a Porsche, you can afford it. Doesn't look bad though. It just looks dirty. It's good.
Drop a canepa in there.
Nope, definitely don't.
Got Jim trying a canepa.
Every day we're indoctrinating them just a little bit more. I like it.
You're crazy.
I love it.
Now, to get everything out of the way, we have the engine harness, which is super simple. We'll just get it off real quick and show you guys. That's it. That's all we got. That's it.
That's probably the easiest engine harness I've ever seen.
In the car, it might be a little tricky, but out of the car, that was super, super easy. It looks like this thing is actually coming apart really nicely in stages. Like some engines, you have to like take apart half one system to take apart the other half one system, and it kind of overlays itself. But with this, it seems like they actually, like this whole time I was expecting to have a lot of like, oh, these damn Porsche engineer moments, but realistically, there hasn't been anything that's been really obnoxious.
We're offering certifications over here.
Right? Like it's all come off really modularly. Like it's come off like very, like there's been like no bolts that are stuck because of some other system or like, you know, we've all had those mechanical moments of like, why would the engineers do this? So far, this has been pretty Like, I keep thinking it's gonna suck, and then you get to it and you're like, oh, it's not that bad. The next system I want to pull off is one, it's gonna be the fuel system. So we're gonna take the rails with all these high pressure lines as one piece, and it should just come off real easy. So if you want a better look at it, we have the feed right here from the car. Splits right here, so it goes to the front of each rail, then it goes back, and they both go into the regulator, which then goes into the return. So it's a very simple, very smart, true dual system. Give them one of these. Boom, that's it, they're off. Look how simple it gets, like real quick. Everything comes off as one system, which is really nice. The injector seats are disgusting. You guys can kind of see on the outside. Yeah, the whole thing is that crusty. And then if you look at the fuel system itself, which like I said is, I love how it's just like one tight system like that. The injectors are so filthy. Look at this. The more we take it apart, the more I'm happy that we took this thing apart. Like, it was running half decent, but she definitely deserves to breathe a lot better than what it's doing right now. So now we have the engine cover right here, which is like the engine shroud. But on top of that, before we can take this off, it's sandwiched between our lower intake boots,
Smoke stacks.
runners, stacks. That's a good term. That's a stack, right? Because this is the lower part of the plenum and houses the injector. So I guess you would consider it part of like the manifold, whatever. These are cheap, so we definitely want to get new ones of these since they're plastic and kind of dry rotted. Yep. And it's super simple. It's just 3 bolts and they come right off. Literally that, just like that. Boom. That's it. That's the whole piece. And what's nice too is these are all the same. Look how cracked and stuff these are. That was probably a vacuum leak in itself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is a vacuum sealing surface, which is now gone. And boost leak testing it, we won't be able to see it because it's inside the shroud. So I guarantee these were leaking real bad. Yeah, look how bad these. I feel like if Mercedes made this engine, every single runner would be a different part number. I'm pretty sure these are all identical. So they just have one. So
964 1107 1100.
Yeah, they're all the same, which was a really smart move by Porsche because now you just buy 6 of the same thing and they're cheap. Can't mix them up. Well, that. So like, I think the more I work on this, the more I'm actually like really impressed with Porsche. I feel like when you think of like these German cars, you just think about everything being way more difficult than it has to be. But this has been very, for the most part, pretty straightforward. Time to take engine shroud. Still trying to figure out the names of these things. Engine air shroud. That's what I'm calling it. Oh, it's gonna be so filthy under here. You ready? Damn, look at this thing. Now it looks like an airplane engine, doesn't it? That's so crazy. So we got the knock sensors right here. So look at, there's a bar that connects the base of each head. It's like individual cylinder head that is then slipped over by one. Then the knock sensor has like this bridge on the base, bridges them all together for the knock sensor. That's so funny. Besides that, I believe this is a breather right here that goes, this is a block. I think this is a breather. Yeah, like vented out. And then this is the oil pressure sensor and oil temperature sensor. So I think we can remove this, probably some O-rings in there. This looks like it needs to be resealed. But besides that, there's not really much going on top, which is good. Everything else has been pretty straightforward. So I'm assuming once we finally go to the timing stuff, it probably won't be that bad. Look how thick it is right here. And of course, obviously, like cleaning this off will help with the cooling capabilities because if there's a layer of gunk on it, it's not gonna cool as efficiently. But as you see, there's a bunch of fins on the heads. Like they're super thin right here. And obviously this is just more heat sinks for the engine to transfer its heat out into the incoming air since there's no coolant in this thing. This video has been a little DIY, but I hope you guys have been enjoying it because like to me, this is kind of like the rotary stuff. It's exciting because it's so different.
It's new territory.
But it's so similar, and like I feel like people always treat it like it's this magic that like you don't touch, you just leave it to the magicians. Like I hope you guys have learned a couple things and have been pretty interested in how this whole thing comes together. So it's getting there. I don't think we've had any like moments yet.
Nah, there's no ounce of regret on pulling this thing out. If anything, I'm happy we did. Very happy.
So now we're gonna take a Subaru H6 and put it in up. So it looks like we're probably gonna be changing the clutch while we're in here. I don't think you could change the clutch with the engine in the car, and I would really, really love to not have to pull this thing again this season. So that, and if we do turbo this thing, which I really, really want to, we're gonna see like, once we put this thing back together and it's all healthy and happy, I might just be really happy with how it is. I don't know, save the turboing till the winter time. It'd be really easy to turbo. If I put this thing on a standalone now, get it running and all happy, it'll take us a week to turbo this thing. The hardest part about turboing this car is running the pipe, and we got a spoon, so it's not really a big deal. For now, let's pull the trans off, get the clutch off, and I guess start fresh. What? That's the craziest nut I've ever seen. It's kind of smart, like they studded everything on here. As you guys know, studs are stronger than bolts, right? Everything studded. Thanks. Look at you with the fresh cut. Look at him. Look at him. Someone got a homegirl DM spoon, all right? You ever use your self-mail? That's a guilty yes. If you know, you know.
It was mid.
It was mid? What I was getting at was, even the transmission is studded to the engine. Crazy. Instead of it having long bolts go through it, you'll see in a second, all studs. I think this just pulls. Oh, that's how that works. Man. Good guess. So it is a pull type clutch, which usually means the clutch fork in the clutch and trans are kind of stuck together. So we saw a thread hole on this rod, so we decided to thread this in and it pulls right out. Clutch fork is separated from the clutch, and the trans should pull off right now. This thing's gonna be heavy. Oh, you good?
Oh, that's my hand.
Nope. It's a dense transmission. Just we'll just get out of the way. Oh. Honestly, I am loving Porsche right now because everything just makes sense. Like nothing has been like, what the fuck so far. Look at it, 4 studs to hold the transmission on. They were confident. They're like, we don't need 16 different sizes and nuts and bolts. That clutch, however, that looks like it was made in World War II. Cast pressure plate.
Looks real OEM from 1990.
I mean, it felt great, but
It didn't feel bad.
yeah, that throw-out bearing sounds great. It's Volkswagen Nature finally shines. We have triple squares on the pressure plate. You got a set? Wow, Spoon, I'm surprised.
Of course I have a set.
Oh, this is Volkswagen shit, puppy. Look at that.
I had a good snap-on guy.
Yeah, you finesse you.
Every week.
I hope this thing's smoked. And it's not.
No, it's pretty gone.
Yeah, it's pretty shit. It looks like it sat for a really long time.
Yeah, this thing has seen better life.
This thing should be
Oh shit, she's done.
donezo. I think getting a lightened clutch and flywheel would be the move. Make this thing rev a lot happier. Because it was a little, it revved decent, but you could tell it was doggy. Yeah, it's dual mass too. Yeah, it's pretty smoked. It's wet from when I power wash it, but yeah, that's smoked. There's oil everywhere. You know, it's not that it's a bad engine, it's just original seals. These seals are 30 years old, and the car probably sat for a really long time at one point, which is the worst thing you could do for a car. That's what's almost a little bit scary about some of the low mileage cars, is when they sit for so long, things just kind of dry out, get hard, and you end up having more issues than like a well looked over higher mileage car. So
Drive your cars.
Drive your cars. I mean, I shouldn't be saying that, but yeah, drive your cars. Well, this thing looks absolutely nuts. If you walked in and just saw an engine look like this, you'd be quite concerned. You'd be like, what the hell is going on here? But taking it apart, it made sense, and I'm really happy about it. What we learned is we got to order a bunch of stuff. It's a good car, it's a good engine, but it's old. It wasn't super well maintained. It was just driven and parked and got crusty. So part list grows, but I mean, this is cars, right? You buy old cars is what you expect. So try not to blow all your money on a purchase like my dumbass. But it'll work out. So for now, before we send you guys on the way, I think we deserve to show you guys the after of us power washing all this stuff off. So I think we'll use some good old fashioned YouTube magic for this one. I think I was supposed to snap for this.
You were.
Whatever. It was a lot of work.
That's
it could always be better, but we spent so much time on this. But it looks a hell of a lot better. You ready? You haven't seen it yet. I'm excited for you to see it. Ready? Look at it.
God damn.
Way better, right?
Holy shit.
Kind of good. I mean, it's still old casting and shit, but like,
No way.
it's good. It's not bad. I mean, like, that's the problem about cleaning things, is you clean it, and then, oh, this spot's cleaner, so you clean this, and all of a sudden you're playing this game chasing your ass. But I would say this looks pretty presentable.
For a quick wash up, holy shit.
Right?
That was.
Good thing you don't see any of this. You see a couple bits of this. I try to get more of the areas that you see quite dramatically. I gotta find new straps. It looks like these are a pin, so we might have to knock the pin out. But new straps, paint the fan stuff, vapor hone the few bits of aluminum, and the thing and a new crank pull-in. Thing should look pretty freaking good.
For all of the accessories and everything to be off this engine, that's really like not that much stuff.
And I was talking about the timing stuff before, thinking that this came off, but this is the block right here. So it looks like all the timing components are just right here. So I don't really know how that works, but we're gonna find out. So it actually might be a lot simpler than I thought, just because like everything on this thing's been simple so far. Might be really easy to time this. I'm really happy with it. So, good refresh. We'll have new timing covers, we'll have new valve covers, and all of this. Hopefully I can get new. All of this, because this is all plastic. Now everything's clean, we don't know what leaked, so I'm just kind of going with the mindset of everything leaked, because it probably did. So anywhere there's a seal, I'll be resealing.
This thing is going to feel insane once you drive it again.
Say rotaries leak. Not like a Porsche.
Yeah, I know. I assume this thing's still going to leak after we put it back together. It's just like part of the recipe, but hopefully not as bad. I heard that like putting these things on standalones, they naturally pick up a decent amount of power. So I'm actually really stuck on the idea of putting on a standalone. Oh, good day. I'm happy. I have to buy more than I thought, but it's okay. That's kind of like car stuff.
That's always going to
Usually I have to buy a new engine, so.
Just the same car stuff, just different levels.
Yeah.
New level unlocked.
But for now, we will be playing the game of waiting for parts, so I think we're going to kick back maybe on the RX-7 next video, since we finally have some time to tune it, and go from there. But for now, you guys learned how to take apart a 964 engine with me today, and I'm feeling good about it. I do not regret this decision a single bit now.
No.
When I start spending more money, then I might regret. But for now,
Yeah, talk to us next week.
yeah, you guys want to buy a set of wheels or something? For now, hope you guys enjoyed the videos. I'm having a lot of fun with this, to the point where I'm pissed that Porsches are so expensive, because now I want another one. So for now, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. And Spoon.
Have a good night.